kung meron na po bang mga napili for, or kahit initial man lang po for
Yes,
that?
we have private prosecutors already, but it's not for me to divulge who they are. But in the proper time, no, malalaman naman po kung sino yung mga, no. And then kasama na po sila sa aming preparasyon, no. We meet regularly, nag-uusap-usap kami, and of course we strategize on how we will present our witnesses, including our documentary evidence.
Sa ngayon po kung may mga may other challenges pa po ba na na-encounter so far, kasi nung nakaraan pong press conference with Kong Chua, ang sinabi niya po is yung possible tampering of evidence and yung well-being nga po ng mga witnesses. So ngayon meron po bang other challenges na na-encounter ang panel?
Well, for us, that remains to be a concern. Again, the tampering of evidence, the probable witnesses to be presented, the issue whether or not to start the trial. Kasi andun talaga yung pinaka-main issue eh. Whether or not the Senate should already start the trial. No? So it's not us we're saying that we have to conduct the trial now. It's the Constitution. So that's our basis on why the Senate should already convene and sit as an impeachment court, and the trial shall start forthwith.
And then for my last question po, any Kongs po can answer. Hingi lang po kami ng reaction regarding nga po dun sa sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte kahapon sa ambush interview niya. Ang sabi niya po na, I warned you about the budget. I'm warning all of you about the election cheating. So parang pinag-iingat niya nga po yung public doon sa possible election cheating sa midterm election. So any reactions po?
This comes from an elected official who said she'll kill the president, the first lady, and the Speaker of the House. I don't know if we can even dignify the statement with anything.
Ano yun? Diversion ulit. Alam mo naman yung mga tactics nila. Pero hindi ko rin maisip kung paano siya mandadaya sa eleksyon. Paano niya gagawin? Eh, hindi naman siya tumatakbo. So baka may iba pa siyang plano sa mga kasama niya. So wala yun. Fake news.
Good afternoon, Congressman. To Attorney Bongalon, sir, mag-a-apply ba yung request ng pamilya ni former President Rodrigo Duterte for a writ of habeas corpus?
Well, I just checked sa social media. I guess it was Attorney Panelo together with his son. They filed a petition for writ of habeas corpus before the Supreme Court. So probably let the Supreme Court decide. No? This case is unprecedented. No, we have to remember. I guess, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first Filipino and a high-ranking public official who was subjected before an international tribunal. Hindi pa ito nangyari noong mga nakarang taon. So we will let the Supreme Court decide on it, and we are confident that the Supreme Court will decide on this in favor of justice.
Thank you, Congressman Bongalon. Since wala pa hong paliwanag ang Office of the House Secretary General, pwede bang ipaliwanag Kong Jude Asidre kung ano po ang protocol, kailan pa ba ng travel authority, if ever, sumunod si Congressman Paulo Duterte sa The Hague, Netherlands? Salamat po.
Well, yes po. Kahit nga po ako pag binibisita ko asawa ko sa Thailand, kailangan ko rin ng travel clearance eh. Lahat po kami duty bound to seek for travel clearance kung ito ay personal trip, and travel authority if it's an official trip. I think there's no exemption to that.
Your statements today underscored the importance of the former president's arrest on an ICC warrant, highlighting this is about seeking accountability and justice for the families of the victims. Do you think that the Philippines under the Duterte administration made a mistake when it withdrew from the International Criminal Court?
I would not say that it was a mistake. I think it was a very convenient way for them to avoid accountability. They must have seen this coming, And clearly, our withdrawal from the ICC has made it difficult for those who were pursuing the case at the ICC to make the government or the administration that time cooperate with whatever proceeding or investigation that was being carried out. So, sa tingin ko, hindi mistake. Ito talaga yung plano nila. Isa lang nangyari, mali ang plano nila.
Okay. Well, for me, again, it was not a mistake. Probably it was a belated reaction on the filing of the cases against the ICC. So siguro nakita nila na pwedeng manghimasok ang isang international criminal court. But the problem was the case was already filed and the ICC already assumed jurisdiction. And even with the withdrawal from the ICC, wala nang magagawa eh. Nag-acquire na sila ng jurisdiction. In fact, the investigation has already started. And there are sufficient grounds to believe that the respondent committed crimes against humanity, specifically murder, in relation to the implementation on the war on drugs. So that's my take about it. No, it was not a mistake. It was a belated reaction on the filing of the EG case in anticipation for the ICC, which will come in to pursue him and, of course, charge him in the International Tribunal.
Kahapon po, Congresswoman Geraldine Roman said it's time for the Philippines to rejoin the ICC. What's your personal take po, kayo pong tatlo?
If there is that step and if there is that initiative on the part of the administration, I would support it. But then again, this is a matter for the administration to decide. Senate naman ang nag-concur with treaties that we accede to. So, but on the part of the House, I don't think there. As a congressman, personally, I don't think, from the perspective of the House, I don't think there's anything na there's kumbaga kung ano mang stand namin, it wouldn't matter really because we're not the ones deciding on that issue.
I answered that question siguro mga tagal na 6 months na dapat talagang i-consider ulit na it's just me. Should consider na rejoining, not because of what happened today, but matagal ko na pong nasagot yun. Siguro, sabi ko in cases na maulit-ulit mga ganitong problema, so meron pa rin tayong tool or meron tayong measuring stick for that.
For me, I totally agree that the Philippine government should rejoin with the ICC or to sign again as a member of the Rome Statute. The importance of being a member of this is that there are crimes that if the state or the government has failed to conduct a genuine investigation or prosecution of particular crimes. And what are those? Crimes against humanity, war crimes, genocide, or crimes of aggression. And if the state or the government has failed to act on it and provide justice to the victims, where do we go now? So that's why it's important. It's for the protection of the people. And the state should, for me, it's our duty to give protection to our people. And one way of doing this is for us to rejoin in the Rome Statute.
Follow-up lang po dun sa tanong kanina. Ano pong mensahe nyo kay Senator Bato? Has been missing in action for the past 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Parang last na online siya sa Viber, parang last Sunday pa. And in past interviews, he said that he's ready to face the International Criminal Court. Sabi niya, bring it on in one of his interviews for the campaign.
Siguro ako, more on yung okay lang ba siya kasi kung 2 days siyang literally missing o walang statements or walang communication. Siguro mas importanteng masagot muna yun kung nasan siya kasi I'm sure if he hasn't reacted or hasn't commented or Usually, dapat nandun na siya. Then, I would assume na he's doing something na mas importante. Eh, wala naman ako makitang bagay na mas importante na kailangan niyang mag-react or sumagot. So, I just want to know if he's okay.
Alam mo, mga halal na opisyal, no? I usually the standard for us to follow the law is the expectation is double than the usual. I think Senator Bato, I would like to appeal to his sense of nationalism, of course, his sense of public duty to submit to the rule of law. Hindi ho option sa amin yon as elected officials. Sinumpang tungkulin po namin yon. At sana dito ay makita natin ang kanyang pagtupad sa kanyang sinumpaang tungkulin.
Last question na lang po from my end. I know sinabi nyo na, this is more than just politics, pero balikan ko lang doon kasi some critics are saying that there's no turning back from this fallout between the Marcoses and the Dutertes, and that the Marcoses have no choice now but to ensure that the Dutertes won't be able to return to power in 2028 because the Dutertes will be vengeful and they would seek revenge, and kayo you're also among the faces of of the administration and now in the impeachment trial. For House lawmakers, this make the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara a non-negotiable?
Mahirap kasi pag pinagsama-sama natin lahat, 'di ba? I think part of the discipline that us as legislators, the Senate as the impeachment court later on, is to be able to determine talaga the level of accountability of every personality involved. Like for this AJK, wala naman talaga kaming kinalaman bilang house, no? Other than we conducted the Quadcom and able to add clarity because hindi naman kami party sa case, hindi naman kami ang nag-file, hindi naman kami nagparesto. Diba? Other than the fact that we, of course, with the hearings, was able to provide a better perspective of what really happened.